Welcome back to Art with Ryan, and today we are going to be talking about a super fun, oh so Japanesey artist named iwamura. Iwamura is an artist out of Japan, born in 1988. We're going to go through his work, we're going to talk about where he is currently, where you can buy his work, and we're going to try to keep this video as positive as we can. Now, before we begin, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below, and also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can find out when we have further episodes. So, iwamura, is from Japan. He's from Kyoto, Japan. He is probably right now, from what I have found, my favorite representational sculptor. He's part of the sculptors that we're trying to do this year, and he right now is probably the person that I'm the most amped to get. He's the person that I want the most, but out of his work it's very hit or miss for me, and we're gonna go over that. And it's not a bad thing, that's just a personal taste thing, and just like bologna, some people like it and some people don't, and that's not good or bad. Even if it's the best bologna in the world, some people aren't gonna like it, and that's fine. So in 2007 to 2011, he went and got his first BFA in Japan. Then he went and got 2 MFAs. That's right, folks, 2 MFAs. And while he was getting those 2 MFAs from 2011 to 2013, and then he got the first one, and then 2013, 2016, he got his second MFA. Now, he is only 30 years old. The hardest part about doing research on him was finding pictures of old work like this. So this looks like an astronaut to me, I'm not sure. So his work covers a variety of time and space, figurative to non-figurative to abstract, where he's currently working. But you can see the progression of the movement through it. And we're going to start with this astronaut looking piece. And so you can see his kind of dedication to the figurative work here. And that's what we're going to talk with more about this than with his abstract stuff. His abstract stuff is interesting, and I feel like there's a cultural piece that I'm missing because I'm not Japanese. I don't know, but it's not for me. So we're going to stay positive by picking the stuff that we do like, and where we get to the stuff that we're amazed by. So then we get to this guy, this orange face with this hair. Again, you can see the correlation of sculptureness to it, the construction similar, and then you can't see really scale here, so that's when I add this construction image right here. Hey, now you can see scale. So you can see how big a lot of these sculptures are. We're going to also look at his studio space and his desk right here, and that's when you can see what's happening on his desk. So you see that by the difference in this image with the bottles, you can see that these bottles are probably about 6 inches tall, so you can get a good gauge on what these sculptures that are on his desk versus, let's go back to the construction image here. See this orange card over here? That orange card's probably about 1.5 to 2 feet tall right there. So if that gauges you how big these sculptures are. Now, we're going to go to some of his other work here. He does small vases like this, which I mean, like, they're well done, they're interesting. I mean, they're not for everyone, and I guess I'm not that everyone. So I can't judge on if these are good or bad because it's just not what I'm interested in. So good for you for doing them, Mr. Iwamura. And then we have this, it looks like a fish with a face coming out of the mouth. So again, if you notice, we're looking at that figurative work that's happening. Now we're going to go to this image of Mr. Iwamura and one of his sculptures right here. So this sculpture is a little big, and it looks like it's a little heavy as well, depending on how he's pushing it. So these aren't light, small pieces of artwork, and some of them are. You have to be really careful with his photo images, you really have to look at that dimensions at the bottom of the page so that you can like see like, is it this big or is it this big? Like, you don't know. Here are two more older pieces. I think these are from 2015, 2016 era. So this is when he's getting his second MFA. I feel again like there's a piece, cultural piece of Asianness or Japaneseness that I'm not getting. Like I feel like a lot of Asian artists put things that are culturally relevant to them and their culture, which because I'm an American and I live here and I'm white and I'm gay and this, that, and the other, I'm not a part of this, so therefore I don't understand it, which isn't a bad thing. Doesn't mean I have to know everything. It's just I can understand that they're beautiful objects, but I just don't get them. I don't know. That's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a relevant thing. Now, if you are looking to buy his work, so he does sell cups like this little one right here. It's so uninteresting to me. Now, he does do more interesting pragmatic works, cups and plates. Now, this is a picture right here in black and white of what are called his Boss Man cups. Now, this I think is from 2016 or late 2015, early 2016, where it's just a compilation photo of like all of these cups right here. And then you have this one here. Now, this one is for sale. So he's currently a long-term artist fellow. He has a fellowship at Arches Foundation in Helena, Montana. The link will be below in the description box so that you can go and find out more about him. So this right here is one of his Boss Man cups that you can buy right now. I think it's $230-ish. Now, and then this image here is one of his plates. So he does make pragmatic work. I'm not interested. But, so this is, now we're going to talk about what he's been doing over the last year. And this is the stuff that I am the most interested in. So, right here we have this philosophical type person, this kind of elder, wisdom, I don't know. I feel like he and Yasuki Yamamoto are friends, but they may not know it yet. I feel a lot of the comparisons, maybe it's a cultural thing by being Japanese. Again, I don't know, but I like this. I don't love this. Then the more he's been working lately in a little more abstract stuff, like this guy here with the head where it's almost like just the shape of a head and these cloud bubbles around it. I like it. I don't love it. Okay, now everything else from here on out, I adore. Starting with this little golden bear. This is one of the things that caught my attention and made me fall in love with Mr. Iwamura. It's fantastic. It is. Look at it. It's such a fun little bear. Okay, now, sizing on this, I think it's about this tall. I could be wrong. Judging on some of the descriptions. That might be how wide it is. I'm not sure. It's about a foot tall, I think. So now we're going to go to the next image, which is this cart. Now, this cart is something that really interests me because the cart is something that I've worked with in the past in other art studios, so therefore I can gauge how big these are. These look like they're about 6 to 8 inches tall little heads. So, and the heads to me are where he's making a lot of progress and a lot of interesting kind of like dynamics. And then he goes to these double blue heads here, this like boy and girl set. And again, it's just blowing my mind on what can be done in sculpture and how he's getting this color. I don't know how this is achieved. I don't know that much about ceramics. I don't know much about hand building. So I don't know how he's achieving this color, but it's amazing. I'm very excited about seeing these in person. I'm hoping to go in July of this year to go to Helena, Montana, to go to the Arches Foundation so I can meet Mr. Iwamura. I'm pronouncing that name probably 100 times wrong so far, so I apologize. And then we get to this redhead. Redhead. And then he goes for a while and he goes into this gray thing where if you follow him on Instagram or in his sites, for a while he was working almost in gray, it seemed like. And you got this skull of a human that was cracked open, and then you got this horse head skull, and then you got a raven skull, and you got a couple other skulls. They're very fascinating. This skull here, this animal skull here, is probably one of my favorites. And then the next 5 pieces I would love to own. So this one with yellow background here. So if you read the descriptions on his Instagram where he's talking about this piece here and the next 2 pieces, he's working on glazing. I don't know how it seems like it's a matte glaze. I don't know how he's achieving it, but it's fantastic. And then we have this pink one here. And then you have this blue one here. And they're all truly amazing. This blue one reminds me a lot of Elvis. I really like that. I really would love to have this sitting in my living room. Now, the last 2 pieces here are probably significantly out of my price point, but they are brilliant. So you have this first, you have this little boy here in this like vibrant, almost Yves Klein blue, where it's just a very intense blue all the way around. But something that I haven't seen in his work prior to this piece is the full armature of a human being in a very stylized, kind of not referencing other periods of history, or it seems like this is truly his voice starting to sing. He's not trying to be anybody else but himself here, and there's something about that that really makes me fall in love with this piece. The last piece is by far my favorite piece that he has made. It's this little girl here. Now, it references back to the boy in blue, but there's something about her expression, the tilt of her chin, the way that this is photographed. There's a lot of things about this that are just remarkable. This is by far one of the pieces here where he's gone away so much from that stylization to where it seems almost like it's his voice. The way that he's made this little girl references his Boss Man series as well as the astronaut from the beginning. But it seems like he's also found something very uniquely him in the way he's constructed these with this line work. I personally want to own a piece of his artwork. I enjoy looking at his artwork, and it is phenomenal. Hopefully I will get to buy a piece this year anyway, and in July I'm hoping to meet him. Alright everybody, thanks for joining me, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and the bell notification above so you can find us about other future episodes.